There's a moment most of us have had. You catch your reflection in a mirror, a photo, a video call, and for a second, you don't quite recognize the person looking back. Not because you look different, but because somewhere along the way you started playing a role you're not so sure you ever agreed to. Maybe it was a responsible person you're playing a role for. Maybe it was a strong one, the person who doesn't cry even when they want to. Nobody sat you down and offered you that part. Somebody just needed you to be that for a moment, and quietly you became it. And here's where I think the strange part is. Long after it stops fitting you, long after it starts costing you, you keep wearing it anyway. So today I want to ask a question. I don't have a full answer to it. I'm still inside this one myself. Why do we hold on to who we used to be, even when it's no longer who we need to be? Let me tell you about a kid a lot of us know, and maybe you are that kid. The oldest in the house, or just the one who grew up fast for whatever reason. When the parents were tired, this child stepped in. When a younger sibling was crying, this child knew how to calm them down. When there was tension in the house, this child learned how to read the room before anyone even said a word. Nobody sat this child down and gave them that job. They just became the responsible one, the dependable one, the one everybody could lean on. And people praise it. She's so mature for her age. He's like a second parent already. It felt good to hear that. So the child kept doing it, kept being it. And here's the part that really matters. The child grows up and the world keeps calling on them to be strong at work, in friendships, and in their own families now. They are excellent at it. They can hold a lot. They rarely ask for help because somewhere along the way they stopped believing help was something they were allowed to need. Psychologists have a word for this. They call it parentification. When a child carries a responsibility that belongs to an adult before they are really ready for it. You may have heard people online calling it eldest daughter syndrome, but it's not only for daughters. It's anyone who learned early that being needed was safer than being cared for. If that sounds familiar, even a little, you already understand exactly what this video is about. So there's a simple reason why we do this. When we are young, we learn what gets us love. We learn what gets us approval. We learn what keeps the peace at home. And whatever that thing is, it can be being helpful, being quiet, being the funny one, being the strong one. You try as much as possible to hold on to it because at that very moment it worked. Psychologists have studied these, and one idea is called identity foreclosure. It means we settle into a role early, usually to please our parents or our community or anybody around us, without even really asking if that role that we are taking on is truly us. There's another idea called narrative identity. And narrative identity is the thought that we don't just live our life. We tell ourselves a story about our life, and once we have that story, we try as much as possible to keep living inside it, so it still makes sense. So identity isn't just a habit, it becomes a story that explains who we are. And that's why I think it's so hard to let go, because letting go doesn't just mean acting differently. It means admitting the story might need to change. And that's not a small thing. That feels closer to loss. Here's what I've noticed, and maybe you'll notice the same thing too. The very thing that protected us can start to hurt us. The strong one never learns to ask for help, so they stay lonely. The good child keeps saying yes long after yes has stopped being true. The smart one becomes afraid to try new things because they are afraid that they might not be good at it right away. We built those roles for a reason, They protected something in us at that time when we needed protecting. But the role that once protected you can quietly turn into the role that now limits you. And I think that's the hard part to accept. Not that the identity was wrong, just that maybe it already did its job and it's time to put it down. Now let me be honest about something. I don't think every old identity needs to go. Some of who we are is still who we are. And that is not always a trap, because sometimes that's just who you are. The danger isn't having an identity. I believe the danger is holding on to one out of habit instead of truth. And honestly, I still don't always know the difference. Most times, I only see it when I look back at it. So I want to say this clearly. I have not solved these. I am asking this question because I'm still living inside it. And with that being said, I will end with a question that I think is worth sitting with. What identity are you performing out of habit and not truth? Maybe it's the responsible one. Maybe it's the one who's always fine. Maybe it's the kind of strength that really just fear being seen struggling. You don't have to answer that today, but maybe sit with it and think about it. Thank you.